Drink it in, man.
Detroit Kool-Aid family, we are back. It is part 3 of the 2018 schedule. We've made it through 1 and 2. We've given you our predictions. We're here for the final time to wrap this one up and give you our predictions for 2018. I got my buddy Griffka on the other side of the line. Griff, what's going on?
Same old, man. Just living the dream.
Yes, sir. That's what we do here at the Kool-Aid Cast. So, Griffka, when we left off last time, we were finishing out Turkey Day, talking about the Chicago Bears and laying an absolute beatdown on them. There's no reason to mess around. We're going to come right off of Thanksgiving, and we're staying home in Detroit, heading to kind of bring the LA Rams in here, the team that's traded left and right. They got all these big names. They came out of the woodwork last year. What are you thinking about this football game, and give me your prediction?
Well, this is another one of those games where I believe the Lions need to win it if they're going to make the playoffs. I mean, I think you need to get 10 wins, and it's not guaranteeing you a spot, but it puts you in a good position. And once again, this is one of those home games, and I know the Rams were really good last year, and their defense was really good. And then, they traded for Sue, or they signed him, or however they got him. But once again, this is another one of those games where those West Coast teams have to come east and start at 1 o'clock. And it being at home, I believe that's a big plus for the Lions right there. Once again, it's going to be a tough game. And I know Jared Goff played really, really well last year for the Rams, and their offense was, pretty potent. But this is going to be another one of those games where the Lions played on Thanksgiving, so they have a few extra days rest, prepare. It's another home game. So I think this one's going to be really, really tough, but I think they pull it out in the end, maybe something by 3 points, kicking a field goal to win the game. So I think that gives them the 8th win on the year.
Nice. Well, I got to do what I've done the last couple podcasts. I need to fight you right off the bat here. So you've mentioned multiple times about the West Coast coming east. Do you ever think that a West Coast team can just come to the East Coast and whoop somebody, or it just doesn't happen?
I wouldn't say whoop somebody. I mean, they're winnable games, don't get me wrong. But it's historical where West Coast teams come east and they tend to struggle. With the 1 o'clock starts, 4 o'clock starts are a little different. I mean, it's more on their body clock. But I think they struggle with those 1 o'clock starts.
But how much I know the stats bear it out, but I think it matters to a point. But I think that, it's all about the football team, and you can't always just – chalk up the win for the team that's home or that playing at 1 when these West Coast teams are coming in. I mean, talk to me a little bit about the Rams. I mean, Sue, Peters, Todd Gurley back there. You're putting up a 3-point win. I mean, talk to me about some of their additions and why this is still going to be a win for the Lions.
West Coast team coming east, home team. That team's hot, man. They just got done.
That's it. That's the reason.
It's the same thing. It's one of those teams that just gets rolling. I mean, I know we had talked about it. I believe the way we had broken down the last few games before, I think you had them losing to the Bears and then, beating the Panthers and beating the Bears at home on Thanksgiving, where I had them winning those 3 games. I mean, that's 3 games in a row and you're rolling. Plus, you have the long layoff with playing on Thanksgiving, and it's another home game. You don't have to travel after that. That gives them the edge right there. Yeah, I know. I mean, you're making it sound like the Rams are once again the most unbeatable team in the world. I mean, they can be beat. In Detroit, I mean, they're gonna do it. That's just the way I look. It's gonna be a tough game. They're not gonna blow them out, but that'll be. I mean, they got 3 wins in a row, extra rest with playing on Thanksgiving, and they're at home again.
Okay, well, I'll chalk it up for a win for you. I mean, I guess where I sit with it is this team, they win 12 games last year?
Yeah.
They added a ton of top names. Now, we always have to wait and see. There's been a lot of teams in the past that have made a bunch of free agent splashes, brought in a bunch of people that have used to be or are current Pro Bowlers, and it hasn't worked. So I just think, looking at this game on paper, Todd Gurley is a handful, man. This guy's a beast. He was incredible as a rookie, had a down year, and then he just blew up again last year. So I don't see him slowing down at all. I see Sue wanting to come into Detroit and make a statement. I see they got 2 nasty corners that are ball hawks that we never seem to fare that well against. It's tough where you've got these corners that are just peeking in the backfield looking to make plays. We're going to have to prevent that. We're going to have to stop the run. And Aaron Donald, we haven't even brought his name up yet. I mean, this guy, as long as they get him inked up, he is an absolute issue in the middle of that defense to deal with. So, with all that being said, I got the Lions winning this game. I think, just kidding with you, but I think, man, the offense, it's going to be another home game inside, even though it's December. I think they'll be humming. I think we're going to be able to run the football as well. I think even though they have good corners, our outside guys are going to have to make plays. But I'd love it if this game we could really play a little bit of smash mouth against a good defensive line and not drop back and throw it 50 times, but have a nice even run pass and just be able to come out of this game with 3, 7, 10-point victory, whatever it is. But I think the Rams are going to be really good this year. I see them winning 12, 13 games, but I see this game in Detroit coming off a big Turkey Day as a Lions win.
Yeah, I'm so glad I could sell you on that W.
Well, it was the West Coast team coming east that did it, Grifka. I mean, if that's not your go-to, that and the refs did us in. I don't know what else you got in your back pocket for these last few games.
Hey, it's the stat that works. It's the stat that works.
All right. Well, with both of us getting a victory there for the Lions, we are heading on the road and Lions going west. So we might as well already tell the audience what you're going to pick here. But Lions heading to Arizona, but it is a 4:00, so maybe we don't know what you're going to pick. Grifka, we're going to play the Arizona Cardinals, a team that has been pretty terrible the last couple of years. But they are excited about their football team, their new quarterback, and some of their skill guys. What are you thinking here?
I'm not sold on their quarterback. What is it, like it's Sam Bradford now? I mean, has this guy really done anything anywhere besides get hurt? I mean, they signed this guy. Oh gosh, he'll be good. He'll be good or whatever. I don't know. Obviously, he's just keeping the seat warm. I mean, that's all I can figure with this guy.
Josh Rosen, Grifka is who I was talking about. The rookie. We're not worrying about Sammy Biscuits.
Oh no way! Josh Rosen is holding the clipboard this year. That's all there is to it.
No way. He's starting day one.
Oh yeah, I realize the guy's like obviously a Mensa member, and he's just so intelligent with football that he pretty much pissed off every coach that ever tried to coach him, because he's obviously light years above the guys who have played it their whole freaking year, played and coached it the whole year. That this guy's so smart. He's so good. He just what was it? 9 other teams passed on him, and he's gonna make them all pay. Blah blah blah. Yeah, we've heard all that garbage before. Okay, yeah, he'll be holding the clipboard. That's fine. So the only way Sam Bradford's not playing this game is if he's hurt. Which would probably be come that week. Well, then we get a rookie playing under his third game underneath his belt, so that also helps us. But and once again, Cardinals, they got some good players on that defense. Got probably one of the best corners in the game on that defense. They always play tough at home, and then they're getting their running back. Johnson's back. Unless something happens to him. He never really an injury concern before. But guys come back from the type of injury he had. But I get from everything I've read. I mean, he's fully healthy. So this is going to be a tough game for the Lions. I mean, can they go out there and win? Yeah. Will they? No. This is one of those where the 4-game win streak in my book, comes to a close, and Lions go out there and they play flat.
You got a loss for this ball game?
Yes.
Okay. After you just totally undersold the rookie quarterback and made Sam Bradford sound like he's just a shoo-in to tear it up this year?
Oh yeah, definitely. Sam Bradford.
Okay.
Sam Bradford. He'll get hurt, and Josh Rosen will be playing, but Josh Rosen ain't that good either. So yeah, it's fine.
All right. Well,
hey man, Heisman Trophy winner going to UCLA, and what do you ever lead him to? I mean, what was the best bowl they ever played? I mean, like the December 27th game or something like that. The guy never did anything. I mean, but this guy's all supposed to be all world or whatever. I mean, I realized John Elway played at Stanford, and I don't think they ever went to a bowl either. But still, I mean, it was John Elway. Everybody knew that guy was good. I mean, he was so good. He was the number 1 pick. He didn't fall. So yeah, let's not put Josh Rosen in Canton right yet. So yeah, I don't think he's going to be that good, even after his rookie year and beyond. So.
All right. Well, just so I get it on the record, who do you have playing quarterback for the Cardinals in that ball game?
Well, it'll be
If you
Sam.
had to guess.
Sam Bradford.
Okay. And you have the
Just
Cardinals winning with Sam Bradford at center or at quarterback.
It doesn't matter who's under center for the Cardinals. The Lions always lose out. Whenever they play the Cardinals, they lost to them. They lost to the Cardinals when they played them in St. Louis. I mean, when like Neil Lomax was the quarterback. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's like no matter when you put them on the schedule, it's a loss. It doesn't matter. Now, if they're playing them at home, yeah, you could probably put that as a W. But it's in Arizona. They could play them in Arizona, St. Louis, go all the way back to the old Chicago Cardinal days. It doesn't matter. It'll be a loss. It's just write it in the book.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, well, first of all, I want to tell the Kool-Aid Cast listeners out there, my favorite Grifkism so far, I think, is when you ask yourself a question and then answer it. That's just phenomenal. We got to keep that up. And it's always, can they win this game? Yes. Will they? No. Which, just covers you on both sides, which makes me laugh every time. But with that being said, let me break down this game for you, Grifka. And first of all, let me start at the quarterback position, which we've already heard your take on it. I am totally the opposite. I think Josh Rosen is a guy that, for some reason, he has this quirky personality, this confidence to him that even as much as we don't like, and it's hard to throw the name Aaron Rodgers with a guy who's never played it down, this guy has that type of attitude. And for some reason, I think he's going to be a really good pro. I think Sam Bradford has never done much other than his rookie year. He was decent. He's always hurt. Everybody talks about how accurate he is, but he can't make plays, that are dynamic enough to win football games. So I think Josh Rosen wins this job, if not week one, early on in the season, and gets cooking with Larry Fitzgerald and Kirk on the outsides. David Johnson, he's going to go through this contract deal, but I'm pretty sure they'll get him inked up. Everybody kind of forgot how good he is, both run and catch. So I think this is going to be a good offense, especially when you're playing them kind of middle to early December there. I agree with you that I've been so frustrated the last few years when we're going in to play Arizona. They got old man Carson Palmer there, even though, remember I told you I liked their defense when they had Honey Badger and they got all these hybrid linebackers running around, and they just have not played well. But we got beat up the last couple of times we went there. I think we lost one time by 30 and another time by a good couple touchdowns, and I just shake my head and go, how are we losing to the Cardinals when who they had calling the signals, or when Johnson has been out? But we beat him at home last year when me and you were sitting right there, and the Lions probably played the worst football game they could play, and they still came out in that second half and took care of business. So on the road, Josh Rosen under center, I think he's going to be a good quarterback, and I think this day the Lions are just going to be better, and I'm going to give the Lions a victory here on the road in Arizona. Again, they're playing indoors, and maybe a shootout or maybe a decisive type Lions victory. That's where I'm leaning on this game, so chalk me up for a W.
Wow. I wouldn't see that one coming.
Yes, sir. So we're not going to mess around, Grifka. That's what we do on the podcast. We keep it moving. We talk sports. That's what the people love. Without wasting time, right from Arizona to Buffalo. I'm not even going to tee it up. You tee it up for me. Grifka, Lions heading to Buffalo, middle December. Talk to me.
Oh, man. Back-to-back road games. One out in the heat of the desert. And even though it'll be indoors and it'll still be like 70 degrees inside that building. And then you're going to, December out to Buffalo. I mean, might as well just, play in a freezer somewhere. I mean, because that's pretty much what it'll be. I mean, to be honest with you, I love watching those highlights of games of Buffalo where there's like 2 feet of snow on the field and you can't see anything. And, oh, gosh, I love it. I love those games. But if that's one of these games, that Lions offense will not show up. And I'm not saying it has to be perfect weather or anything like that. It can be chilly. It can be cold. But if it's like one of those really cold, like real windy, real snowy games, I think Buffalo's defense would be good enough to be able to shut down Detroit's offense with that. The Buffalo's defense would carry them last year. I mean, I was never a fan of Tyrod Taylor. I mean, gosh, they benched him for Pete's sake, and brought in some, the backup or whatever. I don't even know. I mean, who it even was. It wasn't Frank Reich, but the guy was so bad that they had to bring Tyrod Taylor back, and they still made the playoffs. and they hung with Jacksonville in that playoff game. The defense is the one that kept them in it. So with that being said, Detroit goes to Buffalo and wins. Last year for Buffalo was one. It was one of those years that you see somebody. It's like, wow, this team's taking the next step. This is great. And then you always watch all the preseason stuff. What teams don't make the playoffs that made the playoffs last year? Buffalo will be on that list. Why? They're bringing a rookie quarterback. This guy's gonna play. It's strong arm. He can throw it through the wind and everything like that. Great. And I know everybody says, well, he didn't have a whole lot of talent around him at Wyoming. Well, generally, great quarterbacks make lesser talent around them better, and he never did that. It doesn't matter. Name the Hall of Fame wide receiver Brett Favre had. Come on, it doesn't matter. Hall of Fame, great quarterbacks make other players on their teams better, and Josh Allen did not do that at Wyoming. So Buffalo's just going to be another one of those mediocre teams. It'll be a slugfest. I think Detroit's going to try to ground and pound that game. Behind the offensive line with LeGarrette Blount, with Kenyon Johnson. They go in there. It's a tough-fought game, but I think they win it by a touchdown. I'm chalking this one up as a W. How do you see this one, Derek?
Grifka, it's so simple for me on this ball game. Buffalo is terrible. They are not good at really any level. I just don't see any skill on the outside and the offensive side of the ball. I heard Shady McCoy the other day talking about, oh, Josh Allen, man, he looks good. I usually don't like rookies. To me, Shady McCoy used to be my boy, and he still sort of produced, but I think you're going to see a pretty big regression from him. Defenses are going to load up on him because there is, like I said, no receivers that threaten you on this team. Josh Allen, I see him just as a guy that the NFL loves, but he can't play the game. So even if he's in, that'd probably be better than any of the other options being in, because I think he'll just be a turnover machine this year and make a few wow plays. So this one, there's not much to say for me. If the weather's an issue, maybe we have to kind of slug it out. But I just see Buffalo being a 3-4 win team at this point. Lions really needing the victory and just doing whatever it takes to get another big road win. So Buffalo's terrible. The Lions aren't terrible. Give me the Lions.
Sounds like a good pick, man. Sounds like a really good pick right there.
Yes, sir.
You think they can keep the winning streak going against the Vikings the week after that at home?
So here's the big two. Before we get to the final game, we got to come back home and play Minnesota. Minnesota. I think I had them losing in Minnesota because I kind of said I want them to prove it to me. Beat this team who was really good last year on defense and found a way on offense, and this year they should be better on offense and still going to have a sick D. So the Lions absolutely need this game at home, and man, it's a tough one for me. 1 o'clock. Right around Christmas time, the Vikings coming in, the division is probably going to be up for grabs or on the line right here in this ball game. I think this is a Matt Stafford game. This is where Matt Stafford has to play above his means. He has to take the game over. He has to win this game either in the late stages or come out and just play some of the best football of his life. I'm picking this one on the fly, Grifka, but again, I've chalked up a few W's, and I'm going to continue that. I think that it's going to be such a needed game that number 9 is going to come through. We're going to have enough balance on offense and defense by this point, as long as injuries don't bite us, that we're going to beat the Vikings in Ford Field to set up the final game showdown. What do you got?
Yeah, this is going to be another one of those really tough games. Once again, Vikings, they're just going to have another good defense again. And, I think last year their offense, I don't know, really what happened, but it just always seems like their defense always carried them, and then, their offense would just kind of hang along. But, their offense was pretty decent last year. Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen, I know Dalvin Cook's coming back, and, as long as Kyle Rudolph is still there, he catches the ball, man. That's all there is to it. But like you said, this is going to have to be one of those games where Detroit needs it. And they realize that if they're going to want to make the playoffs, they're going to need this, especially, last week and, going on the road to Green Bay. So like you said, it's going to have to be one of those games where Matt Stafford looks at everybody in the huddle and says, just keep me upright. I'll get us to a victory. I can't see them, looking, oh, well, we're going to run the ball. If Patricia's like, hey, I want to run the ball, slow down the clock. I mean, the Vikings offense isn't high powered. I mean, it's just a good offense. So I don't think you necessarily need to change your offensive scope of your game against these guys to say like, well, we need to run the ball, a whole bunch to keep their offense off the field. I don't think they need to do that. I mean, I think they're just going to have to play clean, solid ball, keep Stafford upright. The wide receivers will get open. I mean, they've beaten the Vikings in the past, so once again, I'm chalking this one up as a W. That's going to give them their 10th win of the year. And now it doesn't get, like I said, I think you need 10 wins to make the playoffs. It doesn't guarantee they'll be in the playoffs. We have seen those 10-win teams, miss the playoffs, but it doesn't happen very often. That gives them the 10th win, that they need this year. It's going to be a hard-fought game, and I think it's going to be a relatively high-scoring game, actually. I'm thinking somewhere along the lines of maybe like a 35-28 game. It's going to have to be something like that the Lions are going to have to pull out against those guys. So count as the 10th win of the season for me for the Lions.
Nice. So I was just trying to look back. So you got him at 10. I think because you had him losing Arizona and I had him winning, I got him at 10 as well.
Yep.
Oh, my goodness, Grifka. So we made it to the final game. We both have the Lions in double-digit victories. The first year under Matt Patricia, and we're going 10 wins apiece, heading on the road to the frozen tundra, Green Bay, right before New Year's. It is going to be icy cold. Everything is probably going to be on the line. Number 12 for Green Bay is going to be back there unless he gets hurt. And I'm sure both of us would never want something like that to happen to that guy. So man, this is the biggest game. The last couple of years, sometimes when the Lions are in a big football game, I'll be like, man, this is the biggest game in the last decade. Or, man, I've never seen a game like this for the Lions. I think on the road, terrible weather, probably everything on the line, 10 wins. Can you get to 11? Can you maybe win the division with this game and then come home for a home playoff game? Man, Grifka, I've set it up. I've hyped it up. Take a deep breath and tell me about this game because, man, this is everything right here, especially the way we've laid it out with our predictions.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking at this as well. This could be for the division. The Lions need this game, get the division, get the home playoff game, depending on, how everything else shakes out in the NFC. Maybe, if you get to 11 wins, hey, you may have one of those top two spots and get the bye before you get a home playoff game, which would be great. Now, once again, it's in Green Bay. Like you said, it's just like, Aaron Rodgers is back, and he's obviously one of the darlings of the NFL. Everybody loves this guy. He throws so many touchdowns. He dates hot women, blah, blah, blah. He plays for one of the best teams in the league. NFL loves him. Can they go to Green Bay and win? I mean, I know it seems like, what they've won there a couple times the last few years, which is, awesome. We seem, for years, they never won up there, but this is big time right here. I mean, there's been games, at home where the Lions have needed the win against Green Bay. There's been games on the road where the Lions have needed the win against Green Bay. And it just always seems they seem to come up just a little short. That's what I'm going to predict on this one too. The Lions just come up short on this one. They just, for some odd reason, I'm not saying, hey, the ref screwed us on this one. It just seems like, Aaron Rodgers makes more plays at home, and the Lions take a W, and they finish the regular season at 10-6.
Take an L. You just said take a W. Grifka, you're killing the people out there with a loss. Are you kidding me? Are you sure about this one?
Yeah, they're taking a loss on this one. I mean, I could have went bluntly and just said from the jump, are they going to win? No, and then hit your take, Derek.
Oh, man.
I want to put a little drama to it, but I could have been, no, they're not going to win. Sorry, no, they're not going to win the game. That's all there is to it. You're gonna see Aaron Rodgers smiling after the game, talking to whoever the sideline reporter this year is for Fox or whatever, and like, oh, we're just happy to be here and blah blah blah. If we would have lost, my coach would have cried about it. And Mike McCarthy would have blubbered into the mic, and everybody felt sorry for him. Because everybody feels sorry for the crying baby Mike McCarthy, so nothing can ever happen to Green Bay. So. I freaking hate Aaron Rodgers. It's not like I hate Green Bay. Everybody's like, oh, you hate Green Bay. No, I don't hate Green Bay. Because when Brett Favre was on that team, I wish Brett Favre was on the Lions. Okay? I love Brett Favre. Okay? People can hate me for it. Whatever. He's not a true Lions fan. Yes, I am. I'm a true Lions fan because I realized Brett Favre would have taken them somewhere. More so than what was on that team. I freaking hate Aaron Rodgers, okay? You're right. Oh, he's got a swagger. He dates hot chicks. Screw that guy. I'm glad he sat in the freaking 8 hours in the draft day looking like a smug piece of crap. Forget Aaron Rodgers. He gets calls. His wide receivers get calls. His freaking fat coach, whines about bad calls after the game. Then the next 3 games, they get a bunch of calls. They play for Green Bay. The trophy's named after their former coach, for Pete's sake. Why does Green Bay get so many calls? Because the freaking trophy's named for their freaking coach. Okay, and nobody realized. Everybody thinks I'm stupid. Oh, conspiracy. No, it's not. No, the freaking trophy's named after the coach. Okay, if it was just called the NFL trophy, Green Bay wouldn't count. Nobody lives in that town. There's a town of 3,000 people. Oh, the town owns the team. Good for them. Who cares? They're a freaking wreck team. Screw Green Bay. I changed my mind. Detroit's going in there and kicking their butt. It's over, man.
Woo!
Forget 11.
Yeah.
They take the division, and they just go in there. They just kick the crap out of him. They're going to trade for Ndamukong Suh right before that game, just so he can step on his freaking ankle again, and he can cry about it like LeBron James taking some phantom charge. Whatever, man. Forget Aaron Rodgers.
Chalk this up as a W, Grifka. That's
I
what I'm
changed my
talking
mind.
about.
11-5. Thanks. There you go.
Oh, that was epic. Let me compose myself here for a minute. Woo, Grifka, that was something. You brought the noise, man. That's what it took me 15 games to get that out of you. And finally, I got the Grifka rant I was looking for, and the true, honest Lions fan I've known and enjoyed for years and years. My man, Grifka. All right. Woo.
Okay, so what do you
All right,
think?
well,
Now that I have that out,
hold on.
what do you think?
Hold on, I'm trying to get myself together here. So Grifka, I am sitting here in the Detroit Kool-Aid Studios for this recording, and I'm looking up at an authentic game Matt Stafford autograph jersey that I got, which is sitting loud and proud. And then right to the right, I have a dartboard. And on that dartboard, Grifka, I have a ESPN magazine cover of your boy Aaron Rodgers, and I got 3 darts on that dartboard, Grifka, and I got one in his right eye, one in the forehead, and one in the cheek where he's got his stupid smirk that you mentioned. So with all that being said, Grifka, we are 10 wins. We're heading to Green Bay. I think you mentioned something saying that the trophy's named after them. No one freaking cares. We are going to Green Bay with all the ghosts, with all the this, that, and the other. Aaron Rodgers walking around with that swagger he thinks he has, that, I'll just show up in the fourth quarter and beat the Lions. They're the Lions. And Grifka, to quote you and to use your just so eloquently put statement, could they come in and lose this game? Yes. Will they? Oh, hell no. Give me a W for the Lions and take that whole cheese, that Lombardi trophy and everything else, turn it sideways and stick it right up number 12's Rudy Poo. You know what? Because we are going to take that division and we are going to walk right into the playoffs with a home playoff game. I'm talking 11 wins. I'm talking the Lions walking around like they never have before, saying we don't have to take 3 years under this new coach. We just won 11 football games. We just came into your house and beat you. We just snatched the NFC North, and now we're going home to play some jabroni in the first round, and we're going to take them out too. So I am talking a W here. I am talking about maybe like a how can I put this? Like a franchise-changing type of victory where there's a new era, and it's the era under Matt Patricia, and it's talking about not just division titles and home playoff games, but a lot more. But this year, we have beat the Packers in Green Bay. We've won the NFC North, and we're going to play that game at Ford Field. And even though this isn't a playoff edition, we're going to win that game and go on and play somebody else in round 2 of the playoffs. How you like me now, Grifka? Woo!
Feel the same way, man. Feel the same way. It's time to handle some business. We have a coach, got a little bit of fire in him, got a major, pedigree of coming from a franchise that wins, So, I feel the same way. Hyped about the season, man. It only took me 16 games to get my rant out. So there we go.
It was awesome. This whole breakdown of the schedule has been great, and the fun part is I know I give you a lot of grief because usually we joke that we started at 10 wins, but a lot of times you've either been an 8-8 or 9-7 guy. And so to see you come out of this schedule preview with 11 victories and a big win at the end, man, it's just awesome. And you know me, sometimes the optimist, usually I start at 12 and start working my way down for victories. But that's why we have dubbed this the Detroit Kool-Aid Cast, because we always believe in this football team and we always expect and hope for the best and deal with whatever comes our way. So to have us both pretty optimistic in an inaugural year for coach and a system is pretty impressive. And if we're wrong, we're wrong. But Kool-Aid drinkers out there, that's what we're talking. That's what we're seeing, and that's what we're thinking with this schedule. And man, we just cannot wait for football. Grifka, close it up for me, and then I'll have some parting words. But we are done with the schedule. Bring it together for me.
When I first saw the schedule laid out on the team, the teams they were playing, the team that we had coming back, I was like, oh, this team, gosh, man, I'm thinking 5-11. I really was. And I'm just like, okay, they got the new coach in. Everybody's like complaining they didn't go out there and make like a real big splash signing. But, they improved on that defense. They got a couple linebackers on there. I'm still a little worried fuzzy on the pass rush. I don't know if Kerry Hyder, I realize he's back, but I mean, I still think Kerry Hyder just might be another guy. Ziggy has to stay healthy. But really what they did, I think the offense is going to have to carry him again. I mean, this offense is good enough to win some shootouts. It is. It's Stafford, making the comebacks. He's been there before. It's nothing new to him. So as we talk through the season, and with this, I'm like, okay, I'm really starting to think about, maybe a few games I did play with my heart instead of my head. But flipped it obviously. I went from 5-11 to 11-5. We're roughly a month away from the start of training camp. I'm pretty stoked. How about you?
That's awesome, man. And I just want to, again, talk to the Kool-Aid drinkers out there, listen to this podcast. Like, we're just getting this thing off the ground. We're just starting, and we're starting to get in our groove a little bit. And it is the off season, but man, anybody that's listening to this is a Detroit Lions fan to some degree. And I'm just out there to tell you, like Grifka said, you look at the schedule. Yeah, you could come up with reasons they're losing or deal with stuff in the past. I'm out there just to tell all those listening and anybody that's a true Lions fan, like, you got to believe in this team. They got a GM. They got a new coach coming from a winning organization that's not only smart, but has a system that's proven to work, as well as a guy that can adapt on the fly to help us beat teams in new ways every week. You got to believe in that. Don't let people tell you, they'd be lucky to win 4 or 5 games, or, it's the same old Lions. I don't think so. I think this is a changed organization, and that's what we're going to continue to do here on the Kool-Aid Cast. Is we're going to continue to try to give you Lions content from all different angles. We're going to try to recap games this year. We're going to try to bring some funny topics to you here and there. But we're also going to come in here and just talk straight football. We know that you don't really want to hear about our day and this, that, and the other, like all these other podcasts you listen to. But we do know you want to hear about Detroit Lions football. So here on the Detroit Kool-Aid Cast, we're going to do that. And with this schedule, we broke it down into 3 sections. It's been so awesome, Grifka, of your takes and our different thoughts on different games and whatnot. And I hope the people have enjoyed it. But, man, it's just been so fun to break down the schedule. And yeah, you never know until they kick the ball off in September. But it's been fun to break it down and real fun to see us both on the positive side of the ledger, excited about this team and really have some high hopes for them. So I can't wait till we get to training camp. I can't wait till preseason, and then when the games really get going, about this team and be excited. So with that being said, Grifka, I can't thank you enough. We're going to close up this Kool-Aid Cast. I really appreciate it. Everybody else, give this a listen, subscribe, give us a good review, and more importantly, pass this on to other people. If you got a Lions fan, tell them to listen to the Kool-Aid Cast and drinking the Detroit Kool-Aid with us, because it's going to be being poured out all year long, and be positive about this team, be excited about the schedule, and be excited about Lions football coming this fall. Grifka, we're going to jump out of here, man. Thanks again. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you, everybody. We'll check you later.
Pack the bag, start the plane. This game is over. It is over. What a Drink it in, man.